everybody. Alright, here we are with another video for all of y'all. Been gone for 2 days. Still trying to spend some time with the fam bam, and so it's a good thing, to disconnect, spend some time with the family, and then, recharge and then get back at it. Even though there is really not much going on, but in the midst of, and when we say not much going on is, prices just pretty much not really going up or down, except for a few meme coins and Caspa. But other than that, pretty flat or a little red for most projects. But that doesn't mean that things are not happening, in macro news and the such, and around the world. I mean, we have here Bolivia. This was yesterday that at BTC_archive posted this, and this is a retweet. I can't repost it. So just saying that Bolivia makes Bitcoin trading and payments legal again in effort to modernize financial system. So, yeah, this is big, guys, because I mean we still see the interest in other countries in the world, trying to use Bitcoin for more than just a store of value of such. And so payments will be legal again, okay, here, and trading of Bitcoin. So that's pretty good. Dave Portnoy, yeah, if Bitcoin dips in the 40,000 range, he'll buy $5 to $10 million more Bitcoin. But as it says here, don't know. I mean, if it goes down there, boy, I tell you, it's going to shake out a lot of people out of this space, because everything else will nuke. So, but it's not really looking like it'll get there. But I mean, anything can happen. It could go back down, but it's just the reason why is just, it's almost like the floor around that 58 to 61 range is holding it like quite strong. But anyhow, as I mean, anything can happen, right? Remember the other day I was telling you guys about the SEC, how it just turned around and and dropped the lawsuit against Ethereum and blah blah blah. And I was like, man, I'm telling you, this just doesn't seem right. Like, this it's just weird. Like, I don't know. But I don't know if this is, because this is a repost. Okay. But let's see. No. So this was the lawsuit against Consensus, okay, operating as an unregistered security broker through MetaMask, and this filed, okay, 6/28. So this was filed when 2 days ago. Okay, so here we go once again. You just can't make this stuff up, guys. Like, this is just crazy. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. It's you can't trust these well, not really elected officials, because like these people from the SEC, they're not. But I mean, they're elected by the elected officials. But anywho, I don't know. Maybe this, who knows? Maybe it won't, but maybe this will only end when Biden and everybody that he appointed gets kicked out of office. But anyways, got that. Okay, Michael Dell. Okay, so he posted this what's it called? This poll, right? And it was okay. It was the most important thing, and man, it was close, right? Love and relationships. I think that's ultimately really the most important. But man, people, Bitcoin, guys, people chose mainly Bitcoin because Bitcoin will make a lot of other things a little bit easier, right? And so, I mean, this is pretty close. I mean, everything else is like far off. And so, this is what's in people's minds right now. They're probably putting this love and relationship further down further down the road. Rest of now, they just want to go ahead and make sure that at least, financially wise, for them and ultimately their future family. Maybe that's the reason why they're thinking this is more important, at least at the moment. So, and let's take a look at our market. Bitcoin trying to come back up again, finds itself at around $62,000. And Solana is still doing pretty good. Ethereum not doing bad, holding around it. I mean, 2 days ago, when I last made the video, this is around where the prices were at. So practically nothing has changed. Okay, practically almost everything is the same. Let's take a look at these memes over here. Again, pretty similar situations. Dog we've had, I think it was like $2.09 when we last talked about, so really not much changed. Price action wise, which is what most people really worry about. And okay, what else? Okay, Mog still killing it the last 7 days, still doing pretty good. And Popcat as well. I mean, they've just been on a rip. Look at this, 128%. Continues to go up. The Pepecoin doing still pretty good, man. I'm gonna tell you guys something, and this is what the difference about Pepecoin. Pepecoin, man, it's very, 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 very not shared as much, not shielded as much as a lot of these other tokens, right? Like the Popcat, and where's Michi down here, which look at the thing, right? So those two tokens have been like crazily shielded by Ansem, right? And probably a whole bunch of other people, but Ansem is probably the biggest face of those two tokens being pretty much streamlined. And also, he was the one that called WIF as well. So his calls have been absolutely amazing. But besides Kyle Chasse, who doesn't really have that strong of a influencer in Twitter, who else has been talking about Pepecoin? And even Kyle, I haven't heard him really mention Pepecoin like in the last maybe week or two ago. So practically Pepecoin, for it to be holding these numbers, for it to be close to $400 million without really nobody talking about it. And in the in the what's it called, in the conditions that the market finds itself at the moment, guys, this is actually super bullish, okay? Because this is a very, very healthy growth. It's growing little by little, little by little. And I ran into this post here, right? By at T1 crypto underscore tips. And man, I didn't think about this. And so he goes and he says in his post, why do big influencers buy and follow Pepecoin, get base high, but they don't talk about it? Right? That's very, very interesting. And what he's saying is like, let that sink in. Why do they not talk about it? They will hunt those brains, right? So practically what he is saying is they don't want competition from all the other people that are gonna flood in, so they're gonna have to fight for for these brains when mainnet gets launched. And once mainnet gets launched and all these big influencers, they get all their brains that they want to get, then he's going to say, and after they got their brains, then it's time to chill. Okay? Because then at that point, they're going to be completely, chilling with everything that they have. But the bags are going to be not just packed, I mean, double, triple, quadruply packed. And so then now it's time to let the masses in, right? I say, Ben, forget that. I mean, I'm definitely not that big of a channel. I'm not even a big channel at all. Like very, very small, tiny little gubby fish in the pond. And so I am shilling this thing as much as I've been shilling this for a while now, so that everybody has an opportunity to get these brains. And even if you're not able to get one whole brain, then at least you'll be able to get a partial of a brain. So, yeah, that's, definitely I'm not a big influencer. I'm not even a little influencer. I'm a non-influencer. And nothing that I really talk about is financial advice. But pay attention, guys, that, the fact that you see Pepecoin just, very slowly moving doesn't mean that that's going to be the case forever, nor will it be for a long time, right? So, this just something that I wasn't really thinking about it, but it makes a lot of sense that, these guys are just trying to, fill their bags before they pass it on to their followers. In my case, listen, I just pass it on to everybody, man. I pass it on to all of you guys. So like that, you and I will have the same opportunities to get what we can. And that's practically it. I mean, I don't, not the type of guy to try to get ahead of anybody else. And the times that I make my purchases, like I make my purchase and I make the video right after. And maybe I have an hour ahead of you guys before you guys find out in that case. And a lot of times the prices drop a little bit more than when I bought. And I'm still telling you guys, hey, you know what? I bought, guys. Or, keeping you guys updated as to my moves, and my investments. And again, my thing is, it's my the effect of my buys or sells. I spread out my buys very small but very consistent, and so my averages are pretty decent because I do that. I don't put huge amounts at the same time. And so so that's the case for me. But I always tell you guys when I buy, I haven't bought anything in the last few days. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, guys. Hershey, my little dog, he wanted to join in the fun, and so he was crying for me to let him in the room. So yeah. So what I was saying is, and when the day comes to sell, I have decided that I will tell you guys, make a video first before I end up selling. So like that, we all have the same opportunity, and nobody really is dumping on anybody else. I mean, it's gonna happen because there's some people that are probably gonna see the video a day or two later, and and sometimes that's gonna be the case. Let's grab this little guy over here that just keeps crying. Okay. Hershey, give me a minute. All right. And so, what else we got here? So, let's go back to our memes here. And yeah, so Pepecoin, man, I'm telling you guys, it just continues to, just staying there, staying in the game, holding strong, still having good, not great. I mean, not craziness like Popcat, but when you see these enormous jumps like that, I mean, that's very high volatility. Expect violent moves. As you have up, they could go back down. But I mean, I still like, for my tokens to do some crazy move like that. I mean, that's crazy. I would love it. So, anyways, we continue. MAGA not doing too well, and I wonder if MAGA and all the political tokens and all those, I wonder if they're not doing well because guess what? There was zero mention of crypto and Bitcoin in the presidential debate, and so that didn't help. So a lot of people were like, okay, so it's useless. And I don't see that as a complete loss really, because remember that who, who was having the debate, right? You got CNN, and they mainly are not, I don't think they are pro crypto. I don't think. Not entirely sure. But maybe they felt like, hey, we're not gonna give crypto and Bitcoin, a time to shine. And so, and maybe that's the reason why we didn't, we didn't hear anything about it, because they're the ones that had the questions, right? They had the questions, and they were the ones controlling the narrative. And so, since that was the case, well, they figure, what? Forget that. Gonna we're not going to make crypto shine. Now, remember also that CNN is very left leaning. So I wouldn't be surprised if the left pretty much told them, hey, do not talk about this stuff, because, of course, I honestly think that if they would have mentioned anything about crypto and Bitcoin and all that, I think they would have potentially set Biden up to commit to either one thing or another, and that would have just completely just if he would have gone against it, then I mean, I still think that his days are numbered, after he vetoed that one bill. But I mean, that would have just completely probably sealed his deal, even though he's done, honestly, in my opinion. And Turbo trying to do a little percentage points up, but it has hurt quite a bit the last 7 days. Under $300 million. But Turbo, it's one of those tokens that it just continues to fight back, and it should still do quite well moving forward. What else? Punky, not doing too bad. Andy, 14% up in the last 24 hours. And Apu, not bad. I already mentioned Michi here. Is doing quite well. But always be careful with things that go up too quick. They could come back down very quick as well. But like I said, I still like seeing those percentages. In the last 7 days, this is amazing. So pretty good. And Pepe, ETH, the Chinese Pepe, also doing fantastic. So it's been just completely ripping it, doing quite well. I had a chance to probably get in like around. So I was looking at this, and there was like a little bit of controversy, I think it was, at some point in time. And this thing dropped to like, I don't know, maybe like 50 or 60 million. And I was like, should I go in? Was it 50? No, it was less than that. It was probably like maybe 40 million, maybe. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I was like, should I get it? And I was like, forget it. Like, my focus is mainly on Pepecoin. And so anything that I get, any dry powder that I have on the side or anything, I normally just, put it in Pepecoin. And what else? And then you guys could just go over here and look at everything else that's there. And so let's take a look at Shido. Let's see what Shido is doing. Shido up, almost 4%. Oh, no, 3%. So it's still around that $15 million. So practically nothing there. Where is Pepe? But let's go back in here. Just kind of see the graph. So, doing pretty good on its way up there. So very good for Pepe. Trying to get to that 400 million market cap again. And Turbo. Yeah, so Turbo was all the way here in the red, and then now trying to recuperate, trying to get back, trying to get back to that 300 million market cap. So pretty good. Yeah, let's take a look at Kekistan. Whoa, Kekistan, very nice. So this has been actually a nice call on my end, even though it's still $1.37 million. So, it's still around the same thing where it's been for some time. But, man, look at that. It went to 437. So, still holding this. I've put in very little amount, but I think that little bit of an amount can actually be really, really juicy. 137 million. No, a $13.7 million market cap would be a 10x. $137 million would be a 100x. And a $1.37 billion would be would be a 1000x. Even though I do not see this going to a billion. But can it go to 100, 200 million? Why not? Absolutely. So, but that's that. Tuka has been hurting, man. I honestly do not understand this. This makes absolutely no sense to me. But then again, it's the market conditions, right? It's just not that a lot of interest out there. But man, Tuka is probably the best token in terms of entertainment, funny content, and news. It's a very, very good mix of thingy majigs there. You know, it's very, 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 very funny content as well, which is a nice thing to have, especially now when a lot of things are boring, right? And based AI doing pretty good, 5% up, 6% up, so working its way up. And again, this is absolutely steal a steal to get these prices anyway. So okay, and there was this other, yeah, so this is going to be the last topic that I want to talk about. And this is practically what cycles, practically do. Have 540 days after each halving, alts hit their peak. Okay, so in the other previous cycles, it has done the same thing where it hits around that time frame. It's when it hits the all-time high, hits the all-time high, hits the all-time high. And so here's the whole idea about it is, if it has been the same the other cycles, why would it be different this time? And that tends to be the Achilles heel of every cycle, is like, oh no, this cycle is going to be different, this cycle is going to be different. And so we start creating all these narratives, and yes, not every cycle is exactly the same, but they do rhyme quite a bit, because this is all human emotions and human ways of thinking. It's very cyclical, right? And so since that is the case, I mean, why would it be any different this time, right? Why would we have a left translated cycle? Why would we have an extended cycle? And we're not going to know until it does happen, right? I mean, TA is going to try to tell you whatever until it doesn't. Then at that point, you're like, oh, okay, never mind. We thought it was going to be, but then it isn't. So that's why I continue to hold to the 4-year cycle until that changes, right? Because that's what's been happening every cycle. And and so I continue to hold on to the 4-year cycle until that gets invalidated. So it's looking like this cycle may be the same. I know people went a little, crazy because they saw how much movement Bitcoin especially had, how it had broken all-time highs before the halving. So everybody was like, oh, if it did that, then that means that we are ahead, a certain amount of months. But nobody really, well, I'm not going to say nobody, because I cannot hear what every single person in the entire world is doing, thinking, and are saying. But I do wonder if people are taking into consideration that the last cycle, which seems to have had been interrupted by all the manipulation that FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, and all these other players pretty much just nuked the whole thing early on. I wonder if the market just went back to where it was supposed to be. And those prices that we ended up hitting were, some of the prices that we were supposed to actually be at the last cycle. And that's the reason why it just kind of reverted itself, fixed itself back up to where we are at the moment. I don't know. It's just some of the things that, that crossed my mind, and, that I don't know if maybe that was the case. But also remember, because there's a lot of like, oh man, this market, oh, this is over. I mean, still in Twitter, there's like, and people are just like, oh, show me your coin, tell me which one's going to be the next 100x, tell me the next 1000x. But there's going to be a lot of tokens that are still gonna do so good. Uh, Pepecoin, for example, and I'm gonna continue talking about Pepecoin because I think that's the one that has the most upside at the moment, just because of what they're bringing to that game. Very few tokens are doing, if any, because if there's some others that are doing the same, then I would have been investing in them. But I haven't found them. But at the moment, the only project that's doing the amazing things that Pepecoin and Base AI are doing is them. It's nobody else. And the tokenomics, I mean, if everybody in this space would be aware, okay, of all the things that are coming for these two projects, I'm telling you, the price for Pepecoin would probably be, if pretty close to where the other Pepe is. Who knows? Maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower, but just because people would understand, oh my goodness, just with the burn alone, I'm gonna have an automatic 3 to 4x. Just that alone, you know. And that's just the craziness, right? I mean, you have this token that's sitting right now under $400 million, and you're like, yeah, but that's $400 million. Back in 2021, a project with $400 million or under, it was like, oh, it was a tiny. I mean, this is a tiny itty bitty token. Now we're like, oh yeah, it's $400 million. I think it's huge. Yes, it's huge for a token that's, if you compare it to other tokens that are 1 million, 10 million, 20, 40 million. But when you're comparing it, let's say, for example, to Pepe ETH, right? That's almost $5 billion. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, let me see how many X's. Hold a lolly. You mean to tell me that's a 10x alone from where Pepe sits right now? And you're like, yeah, but that's just 10x. Ill. Like, who wants to do a 10x, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. But that 10x with the burn alone, okay, you're talking about a 30 to 40x just there. Now, if Pepecoin ends up hitting 40 billion, right? 40 billion. And, people are probably saying, yeah, man, you just doing some moon boy type of thing. And absolutely, I mean, yes, I get it. But if it were to hit that much, then you're talking about 100x from where it's at right now. But that's not even considering the burn, right? So when you consider the burn, now you're talking about 300 to 400x to get to $40 billion. And, so then at that point, you're like, okay, well, from where it's at right now to $10 billion, right? That's way doable. I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't be able to hit that, right? So a $10 billion market cap for Pepecoin would definitely put it at what, 25x from where it's at right now. 25x. And that's a 25x without the burn. I'm telling you, the burn that's gonna happen is the probably the craziest factor here to just exponentially bring up your gains. I know nobody's really a lot of people are not really considering this, man, but once you do the math, you're gonna be like, oh my word, okay, this crypto guy that doesn't know anything, that doesn't give financial advice, man, he's onto something. So yeah, so the whole thing is, that's what's happening. People are on vacation. And again, this thing is once again cyclical, going back right here, right? That's why a lot of people are saying, oh man, the 2017 cycle, that's what this cycle seems to be mimicking. And it's because 2017 was probably like the clearest type of cycle. So it's kind of doing this a similar thing here. And Yeah. Is it? Let me see. Yeah. And so, um, fall is coming, right? It's so funny because summer just barely started here in the United States, but quarter three, right? Q3 is starting with July, if I'm not mistaken. And so once we get closer to that September, maybe August or something like that, we'll probably be seeing much better movements. Who knows? Maybe we get surprised because since it's been quarter two has been like so slow that maybe maybe when we see quarter three, maybe we'll have better results. Anyways, this is all I wanted to bring to you guys today. Hope you guys have had an amazing weekend. And Hershey is very happy and he just wants to say bye. Say bye, Hershey. Bye bye. All right, guys. See you guys in the next video. Take care and bye bye.